Hi, my name is Michael Becker, and welcome to this installment of the mCordis Mobile Insights. And with me today is Jeff White, the founder and CEO of Gravy at finegravy.com. Jeff, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
So I met Ken, one of your lead sales guys, at the mobile mobile marketer mobile first look event in New York a few weeks back, and I was so excited. And when I met him, and I'm like, I gotta get you on to be able to talk about what you're doing and to understand your business a bit more. And so over the next 15, 20 minutes or so, I'd like to kind of dig into what you do, how you do it, the problems you're solving, so that the marketplace can truly understand the value and the benefit that you're bringing to the market and the types of problems you're solving with them. Is that good for you?
Yes, Michael, looking forward to it. Thanks.
Fantastic. So let's start with, before we actually start with what you do, let's start with the marketer's perspective. And can you tell me a little bit, what problems do you see marketers out there having? And then eventually, how are you helping solve them?
Sure, Michael. And I think what's old is new again. And basically, we still see the most fundamental thing from marketers' point of view is how do they know people better? And if they can understand people better, they can be way more effective at doing their job, marketing and communicating and converting them into customers.
Okay. And how do they go about doing that today? Is there an old way and a new way? How does that work?
Well, I think it's a mix of ways. I think historically, we've always, as marketers, had to look at what we always called lagging data, right? Past purchase behavior data, cookie data, web analytics, web trends. We really believe that the other side of that coin, and what the most exciting side of that coin, frankly, for us, is actually looking at where people spend their time, how they live their daily lives, tells us so much more about them than we ever knew before. We just think it's the next frontier of how marketers are going to understand people better.
Well, it's interesting. In our prep call, when we were kind of talking about it and I was getting to understand you a little bit better, you said something that was really interesting. I've often talked in the world and mentioned that, increasingly we're digital beings living in a physical world. It's really that mesh between our digital and physical life. And so many marketers are spending so much time and attention about looking at the measure of 85% of our time is spent in apps. So we're looking for that digital media behavior. But
Right.
you raised up this concept of what I found really interesting, this idea of the physical cookie.
Yes.
What does that mean? Can you explain that?
Well, I mean, it's like what the web cookie did 20 years ago, which was a little bit of bits of information that told us who we were online, the places we went, the sites we visited, the things that we interacted with online. That same information, we're just simply applying it to the physical world. Where do we invest our time as people into the places we go and the events we attend, and what does that tell us about us as people?
Okay, so if I understand what you're telling me, the age-old issue of marketers needing to understand the people they serve,
Right.
who are they, where are they, what are they doing, what are their interests, what do they need?
Mm-hmm.
You're helping leveraging the new digital capabilities that are out in the marketplace. You're helping drive and create that insight. Can you give us some examples?
Sure. So our clients might be a large hospitality company who wants to understand the types of foods their guests most love. So we're able to tell them at scale the types of restaurants that their guests dine at when they leave their restaurant, their hotel, right? They can then offer better menu choices to their hotel's menu selections. Or we might tell a large e-commerce provider, these are the events that your customers attended over the last 30 days, so that if I want to sell the baseball merchandise to the people who are baseball fanatics and the yoga mats to people who go to yoga events quite frequently, it allows us to create win-wins both with the consumer and our brand to better align what we do with their interests.
So you're this utility for marketers to be able to generate insight about individuals and devices, and tell me about this. You can do this, and when you say at scale, can you put some quantification to what does at scale mean?
Yeah, so let me talk a little bit about what we see in the world, right? So in our platform, think of us as like two large databases. We have a database of events that occur every day throughout the U.S., and we will see about 1 million events a day come into our platform, and then every point of interest in the United States. And then we start layering in mobile devices and locations on top of that. And on any given month, we'll see about over 200 million mobile devices come into our platform, and about 14 billion location records every single day.
So you can match a device with specific locations, and then that will then help the marketer gain insight as to what that device is doing and what's going on. And and you mentioned earlier though there was something about the context of why that's important. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So we believe points of interest are table stakes. Yes, we can tell you the restaurants and the retail locations and all those things where people go. That's very interesting information. But some of the most telling insights we do is context. So take like a large convention center where we live. It's called the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. Tonight it's the NBA game that's being played there. Tomorrow night it's a hockey game. The next day is a trucker show, and then it's the dog show on the weekend. The exact same location, a piece of lat long, a piece of on the earth, depending on when the consumer is there, tells us so much more about them.
Yeah, I actually went to the monster truck at the Oakland Coliseum a couple weeks back.
Oh, you did?
It was awesome. It was like Gravedigger. It was so cool.
Yes. Gravedigger's right near us, actually. Where
the giant 6-foot tall tire breaks off the car and goes flying across the stadium. I mean, it was awesome.
Right. So imagine, by the way, if you're a brand who sells big trucker equipment and you actually targeted somebody who was at the dog show there the next day, you're going to miss the mark.
Or more importantly, if based on what I understand, what you're saying, just kind of personalizing this a bit. I've been to one monster truck show, actually two. This is the second one, but so I've been to two monster truck shows. But your data could show that that was a set of outlier activities. He normally does this, that, and this. He just happened to go check out a couple of shows. So a car company is not necessarily going to overly market me for having been to one event. Over time, you can learn the broader profile. And this is what I think, David, your CMO, was telling me about earlier, is it's really about your ability to longitudinally over time build a persona profile to be able to reach that person. And that's very similar to what you're saying about that hotel and the restaurant and understanding their eating behaviors.
Yeah, I think we are who we are, and that normalizes over time. However, your one attendance to that truck show, you could have been very receptive to a marketing message on the tail end of that for something related to that. But
sure.
Over time, we build up personas that are based on unique lifestyle events that we go to that makes us who we are.
I see. So in that environment, you could say, okay, this, assuming that the person's integrated with your data capabilities for real-time marketing, they could have captured me right then and there at the height of my excitement of the event and got me to buy at minimum the toy for my kid or something like that.
Yeah.
For example, as I'm walking out, if they were integrated with a push notifications player, that player could have used that insight to then drive and send me that very unique and tailored message for me at that moment. Yeah.
Yes, and we have large e-commerce providers that are informing their merchandise selections because there's something visceral and a very recency attribute that gets applied to people's attendances to events. These are the things that we talk about at the water cooler the next day. I won't talk about my visit to a sports paraphernalia shop, but if I went to the hockey game last night, I'm very receptive to both the marketing messaging and I'm going to share with my friends. There's something there that's easy to capitalize upon.
It's interesting too. I mean, based on what I'm hearing you talk about too, it makes me think of something else. I heard this great statistic later last year was around the fact that gum sales have been significantly in decline, something in the tune of like 20% of volume, 11% of revenue. And the reason being is people are standing in the aisle of the grocery store and they're not impulse buying at that stand because they're playing with their phone. So in some ways, you're revolutionizing impulse marketing. If with the insights and the generation, the data you're generating, not to mention the fact that longitudinal relationship a marketer could have from the insights you're generating.
That's exactly right. And some attributes, personas that we create, are actually created at a moment in time too. An auto intender, for example, could be identified as somebody who went to a dealer's lot, right? They're in the market, or went to a car show or something else. Those are very moment in time signals that we can learn a lot and act upon.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about this. And as I understand what you are as a business, you're a data company. You're not a media company. You're not buying and selling media. You're a data company that people can license access to your data, or either themselves, first-party related activities or third-party related activities. What does someone buy from you? What is what's the commercial relationship someone might have with you?
Sure. So we have a data platform that people can license our data. And it comes in three ways that companies typically work with us. So the first way is they take our SDK and embed it into their mobile infrastructure, apps, and web. And we actually are informing them about their customers' behaviors, right? Their users' behaviors. The second way is where they already have a location data on their customers that they've either harnessed themselves or gotten through other attributes. They don't know what to do with it. It looks like nonsensical, that long information to us. They feed that to us in batch mode, and then we tell them about their customers every night. We append it with every place that they've been, and the personas, and the targeting attributes, etc. And the last way, Michael, is really third-party information. We pull in from things like SSP, mobile inventory partners, mobile device aggregators. We bring all that into our platform and create audiences and associated attendances at scale.
And one can assume there's like massive, scary amounts of technology behind all of this. So how you, in a very simplest, like one or two sentences, what do you say you would do on behalf of, say, marketers or a media company or a retailer that wants to understand this, wants to get this insight?
So if most of our customers already have existing systems of how they're talking to their consumers, targeting, merchandising, everything else, we effectively are just transforming the way those things work to act on real-time physical location data that we're giving them. So a large e-commerce provider every single day is informing their email platform, their merchandising platform, their personalization platform. All those are informed based upon the attendances that we're creating to their user profiles.
And you said that's happening at scale to the tune of 200 million devices a month, 14 billion events a day. So to that extent, we opened up the conversation with you helping us recognize that the age-old problem of most marketers are being, actually we can go all the way back to what Cicero told us in ADBC. If you wish to persuade me, you must think my thoughts, feel my feelings, and speak my words. Right. So, in other words, you need empathy and understanding. So you said marketers are struggling with that number one issue of empathy and understanding. And based on like what I've heard is you're one of those key silver bullets to actually help the marketer understand people better and to be able to ultimately service them.
Well, and truly what's the most intimate thing that I can do with my precious time is the places I go and the events I attend. And if you as a marketer can understand that about me, you've understood me so much more than any other data they have today. It makes their efforts so much more powerful.
Well, Jeff, this was fantastic. Where do people go if they want to learn more? Obviously, I love the brand and the logo right behind us. Couldn't done better. So obviously, they can go to corp.finegravy.com
right,
and hit the website. Is there any other channels where they can learn more about you or to engage with you and your team?
Yeah, that's a great place to start. And there you'll actually see an ability to actually get a live demo. We can actually show in live for customers and prospects how people are engaging with their brands and locations anytime they would like. Happy to do it.
Well, wonderful. Okay, well, my name is Michael Becker. You've been with me and Jeff White from Fine Gravy. And Jeff, thank you very much. We really hope to learn more from you, and I hope a lot of people come and engage your services because it sounds like tremendously important for the marketplace.
Thank you.